Hello everyone, I'm John Raridan and you're watching NWR TV. During this year's E3, we managed to get some direct feed capture of Dragon Ball FighterZ running on Nintendo Switch, so we wanted to pit it up against the PS4 version and see just how well this port stacks up. Let's start with the most significant difference we've found. The lightning effects that you see in this scene are definitely pared back on Nintendo's system. Not something you likely would notice just playing the game, but when you do put them side by side like this, it's impossible not to notice. Now you'll also notice that the Switch version seems significantly brighter than the PS4 version. Given that we did capture this off of an E3 demo unit, it's impossible for us to tell whether that's indicative of the actual port or simply the way they had the system set up at the event. After all, you're dealing with a lot of bright shining lights at E3, maybe you just crank the brightness up a little bit to make it easier to see for attendees. Who knows? But I wouldn't make any judgment calls just yet. It does appear that the resolution has dropped slightly from the PS4 version, but honestly, it looks very sharp and very comparable in both. The frame rate is also maintained from the PS4 version, meaning that this Switch port does run at 60 frames per second. Now granted, Dragon Ball FighterZ is a bit of an odd beast when it comes to frame rate. When I say it runs at 60 frames per second, I mean that the camera generally moves at 60 frames per second, while the characters animate at whatever frame rate they feel like. The cutscenes seem to render at an entirely different frame rate, particle effects render at another, and you're left with a whole mess of different frame rates. It almost reminds me of looking at 2D sprites in a 3D fighting game. It's an odd mix, but it looks pretty cool in motion. I scoured over this footage to find any significant differences in presets, and it's honestly hard to find much. Textures seem to be a hair lower resolution, but that appearance might also simply spur from the game itself running at a lower resolution. I assumed that shadows might be slightly more pixelated, but even looking at those close up, they look just about the same. Granted, they're very well filtered, so it would be hard to tell if you dropped them down a preset or two. All in all, Dragon Ball FighterZ on Switch is looking to be a very, very good port of the original. So if you're a fan of the game, I don't think you have anything to worry about picking this one up. Of course, we'll have more coverage of Dragon Ball FighterZ right here on NWR TV and at NintendoWorldReport.com, so hit subscribe, ring that bell, give this video a like, and leave a comment. You can also join our Discord by following the link in the description, and if you want to support both this channel and the site, you can check us out at patreon.com/NWR. Once again, I'm John Raridan, and I will see you next time.